now the one that we have, and then we'll have to see how we go forward. The other webinar that we're going to look to continue is our experience Mekong collection webinars, where we look to feature around 2 to 3 businesses, experience Mekong collection businesses. And this has been actually quite interesting. So anyone who hasn't joined that, I encourage you to do that, because there it's really small businesses telling their stories on how they're coping in during these challenging times. You know, so that's all I can say. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lamint. I think Vietnam has joined, right? So we're good with Vietnam, but we're going to start with Myanmar now. So Mr. Lamint, if I could ask you to give us your update, please.
Distinguished participants, uh, I'm happy to meet you again. Firstly, I would like to thank MDCU for organizing this 10th Metag meeting. And actually, we are bored with our daily activities. So if when we participate this meeting, we are a little bit active and we can promote our country by giving our giving our information to the people who are joining this program. So next slide, please. Okay, I would like to give some updates. And the Ministry of Health and Sport tested over 139,000 people, and they found out that 396 cases are were infected, and over 139,000 negative. So 333 people were recovered, and 57 active and 6 dead. So the death total is, and I think it was 4 months, since 4 months ago. So you see the slide that which area the cases are found out, cases are confirmed. So Yangon is the most cases we found, and Karen, Rakhine, Chin, Rakhine, and followed with other region and states. Next slide. So as Myanmar, the Ministry of Tourism is implementing COVID-19 Myanmar tourism strategic roadmap. So we are in the second stage, reopening. So according to the plan, we have already, the ministry conducted with the support of region and states offices and related ministries. We conducted training programs on tourism capacity building for tourism related grassroots personnel, like trailer drivers, vendors, coachmen, craftsmen, and boat drivers, and souvenirs sellers. So the programs last 8 days programs, and totally 66 times, so almost in 45 towns, region and states. So it cost 80 million Myanmar kyats. In if we mention in US dollar, about over 58,000 US dollars. So altogether 1,320 local grassroots level they were trained, so they will get daily allowance and they were provided food and so on. So over 1,056 tourism stakeholders also, they also get benefits from these training programs. So altogether, 2,376 people were benefited, are benefited. So second, relief package 2 also being conducted, and this is training programs for hospitality capacity upgrading for tourism industry personnel. So it is a 15-day program, and it will conducted in region and states. So totally 24 times in 30 towns in region and states. So it will cost about 120 million Myanmar kyats. So if you convert it into US dollar, it's about 90,000 US dollar. So almost 960 local hotel staff, they will be trained, they will get training programs, and 96 people working in hotel businesses. And so altogether total 1,056,000 people are benefited. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yes. So we also form a destination management organization. It is the DMOs are established in regions and states. So the patron were Minister for Ethnic Affairs and the parliamentarian. So and the chairman is the district or township general administrator, and the members are private and public representatives and civil society organizations as well. And the Ministry of Hotels and Tourism branch officers, they are taking the role of secretary. So that they are able to support reopening of tourist sites like pagodas, beaches, hotels, restaurants. This team will go and check and give guidance, which are being given by the Ministry of Health and Sports and other related ministries. So they also promote the tourist destinations, which can attract tourists. That these destinations are COVID free and for the confidence or trust of the customers. So far I have only this information, and Myanmar is trying to develop its redevelop tourism. Started with domestic and slowly GMS, ASEAN, neighboring countries to get for the survival of our industry. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I will try my best.
Thank you, Mr. Lamin, for your updates and information from Myanmar. So, any questions for Myanmar?
Hello, Tom. Can you hear me? Hello. Hi, Tom. I'm from Vietnam. Can you hear me?
Có. Nó nghe thế. Đây. Tóc Linh Trần Phong Bình.
Chẳng được.
Đúng.
Hi, Tom. Can you hear me? I'm Bình from Vietnam.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can hear you. Moment.
Okay.
Nghe thấy đó.
Thank you.
Maybe. Do we have any questions from our participants before we move over to Vietnam? Maybe Mr. Tran, just give us a couple of minutes to answer some questions for Myanmar, please. Any questions?
I feel the question. I have
Mr. Don, please go ahead. You're on mute right now.
Oh, am I?
We still cannot hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, now. Go ahead.
I was just interested in knowing a little more about whether Myanmar's got a certification program for to demonstrate a certain level of hygiene and safety, like the one that Thailand has. He didn't mention anything about that.
Mr. Lamin,
Thank you, Mr. Don Ross, for your questions. And so far, we have SOP, which is composed of guidelines from the Ministry of Health and Sports, Ministry of Religious Home and Religious, Ministry of Religious Affairs, and Ministry of Transportation as well. So right now, we don't give any certificate to any businesses which are relating to tourism, but the concerned responsible team, they go and check the hotels, restaurants, whether they are following the safety guidelines and SOP. And if they are following the guidelines, they are giving not a certificate, but giving a letter of endorsement, something like from the department, so that they are able to open the hotels, restaurants. And right now, the pagodas and beaches are not officially open. We estimate that it will open in September. I think now the schools, high schools are open. Then next step, middle school, primary school open. Then people can go out more and more. So at the time, I think the beaches and pagodas monuments are open according to the standard operating procedure from the Ministry of Health and Sport. Right now, the beaches, you know, we have good examples from Vietnam. They opened the beaches, and then the diseases, they found out the cases. So we have a good lesson learned, and then the government also very carefully to reopen the beaches and the monuments pagodas, because Myanmar people, when they go out, when they travel, first they will go to pagodas to pay worship or homage. So it's very pagodas and monuments, it's okay, but beaches very difficult to make social distancing. So that's why the government is very carefully taking care of it. So this is my answer, I think.
Thank you.
great. Thank you, Don. Any other questions?
Yes, I'd just like to ask a clarification, please, about that. Did you say that the beaches opened and then you found cases and you then reclosed the beaches again? That's my first question, just to clarify what was just said. And with regards to flights, international flights, Qatar Airways, Emirates, the Middle Eastern airlines seem to be expanding quite rapidly. What is the plan for Myanmar to allow international flights and arrivals with regards to tourism or business travelers? What's the plan with Myanmar, please?
Thank you, Mr. Howard. The beaches, the cases found out is not Myanmar. I mentioned that the Vietnam, they opened the beaches and then they found out. So that's why we have a lesson learned, and we try to avoid this kind of problems happen. So that's why the beaches are not still officially open. And last 4 days ago, and 4 days ago, I went to beaches and Ngapali, Hue Son, Changtan, together with the deputy minister. So during the meeting, we discussed about DMO, and as well as we are checking the beaches and discussing with hoteliers. So in front of the hotels, they are able to control, you know, because how many people will go out, which group by group they can make a part, you know. But public area very difficult. You cannot go and tell. So we have some measures that we have formed the team, and then the people who are not staying at the hotel, they just go to the beach. So which entrance they are going to the beaches. So we form the team, and then the team will check whether they are following the guidelines of the health and Ministry of Health and Sports, you know, or the social distancing and wearing masks, washing hands. So this is we are doing. So officially we are not open, but friendly speaking, some local people they go by themselves, but not many. You know, very difficult. So this has happened. So we also during the meeting we mentioned that this is not open because of the safety nets of the people uh, to stay away from the coronavirus. You know, so this is what we are doing. The international airlines so far we have only relief flight only. So they come for the support to the Ministry of Health and Sports, bringing materials, and the people who are in other countries, they want to go back to Myanmar, so the government arranged for the relief flights for them. This is only we have. So if I think that the situation is very difficult to uh, uh, antici- uh, anticipation. We cannot anticipate, you know, when we are going to open. This is not only Myanmar but also other countries. It depends on other countries as well. So that's why right now we don't have any international flights for uh, the for tourists visitors. So until October, I think it cannot be happen, you know, until October, according to the information of the Ministry of Transport.
Okay, thank you. I think Yon, you have a question. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Lamin. Uh, as related to your information about the border closure for Myanmar. So at the moment, of course, I mean the domestic tourism will be the major sources. Will be the major sources for Myanmar, right? So my question is, do you have any packages or promotional stuff to boost the domestic tourism for local people or for domestic tourism? Thank you. Because in Thailand and Vietnam, for example, they have some kind of promotional packagings or stimulus packages to spur the economy for local people. Thank you.
Some words before, I know I didn't hear clearly, but what I understand is that how we are promoting our domestic tourism, right? The point is that
Yes.
how
Yes.
how Myanmar is doing for promotion.
Yes, for domestic tourism and Myanmar people to travel within Myanmar because for example like Thailand and Vietnam they have the campaigns for local people traveling within the countries, something like that.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. Your question is very interesting, and we have no choice. You know, we start our tourism with domestic tourism like other countries. So the point is that the government in Myanmar, you know, we have many holidays. 2 weeks ago, we have 4 holidays, 4-day holidays, 4-day holiday, and 3-day holiday. So full of holidays in Myanmar. So this is one thing that it is encouraging local people to travel because they have time, and even the government civil servants, they are going to travel to some areas which is far away from their regular places. So then the hotels open, the restaurants open, the bus lines open, and some people they have their own cars, their own arrangements, so they are going out. The government also release some of the areas like lockdown, you know, already released, so people can go to, for example, people can go to the shops, and the family, the same people, they can stay together. but other groups, they have to be apart, so this is kind of preparation being made in other restaurants and hotels as well. They have SOP, and for the packages, to give some incentive to the for example, money, or the tickets, or the government is thinking about it. So far, we don't have any financial support to travel, but people themselves, they are going out. For example, last 3 holidays, all the hotels in Bagan, Mandalay, even in Loico, the area, all the hotels were fully occupied with the locals. So this is a good example that Thailand is giving some incentive to the people to travel more, some stimulus package, So we don't have any incentive like this, but I think slowly it can be happen. But only we give trainings for the people who are working in tourism industries, like the grassroots level, and the staff in hotels and travel agencies. Some tour guides, they are become a trainers. They give local people, they give training for to see the grassroots level about basic English, health and hygiene, safety and security. So this kind of training, how to give good hospitality to the customers. So tractor drivers, even tractor drivers, boat drivers. So this kind of stimulus packages the government is providing. But for the travelers, the government provide for the safety nets and safety and security travel, just only doing this.
Okay, thank you. Maybe if we don't have any other questions for Mr. Lamint, maybe if there's any comments from the private sector, maybe Torsten from Memories Group or Hamish from Exo Travel, if there are any other observations as it relates to Myanmar. Maybe Torsten?
Thank you, Jens. No, I concur. It's mainly the training that is being done, and the government has also provided and made sure that we had this 4-day weekend 2 weeks ago, which was a very good boost for the local tourism. It is positive to some extent that Bagan and Pa'an and Loico and Mandalay are full. We also see a surge in local tourism here in Yangon. So people are definitely traveling, and they're traveling all over the country. So that's good.
Okay. Thank you. Hamish, any comments from Exo Travel as you're operating in Myanmar as well?
Sorry, Jens, let me come back on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, sorry, a few things going on at the moment. Yes, interesting to get the update. I mean, for us, of course, we're trying to do a little bit of domestic business, but it's really not our main business. So we're really hoping to get some news on when the government in Myanmar is looking to start to even think about opening borders. Are there any plans in place? Is there any idea? Is there any guidelines they can give to the private sector? Because the issue for all of us is that it's very difficult to plan and to move forward as a business when we have no idea when borders are going to open. So we know that it's a very delicate situation and that things can change very fast, but it would be nice to get some idea of plans, even if they're going to change later, on when things might open up.
Mr. Lamint, any comments on maybe?
Yes, thank you for your good suggestion, and we have already put up all the information on our website, the MOHC website, so we can click and then we can find the topics that you want to pay attention. So all the trip advisory and also SOP already we have put up, and the activities, what I mentioned in my representation that the Deputy Minister, we went to, Yangon. Gua is a kind of, it's all the kind of beach, So, and Kantaya beach, and we saw Chongda Nepali. Last time we went there and we checked everything. So these activities also mentioned the information we put up on the website, and also the train, traveling by train, this is also promoting. So the Deputy Minister went to I think last Saturday, Sunday, he went to upper part of Myanmar, and he himself experienced using the train, so that we are able to find out the convenience and to buy the tickets to traveling by train, what kind of problems they can happen, or so we found out that everything is going well, and then some areas there we have with air traveling also from. So all the information is website, we cannot deliver the pamphlets or booklets. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lamint. Do we have any other questions regarding Myanmar?
I just have one question for Mr. Lamint. Is has this crisis highlighted the lack of international, especially long-haul flights, because you're so reliant on Thailand? Has this crisis highlighted the need for Myanmar to have a real international domestic grown airline? Because of course, even when Thailand opens up, you're still reliant on people flying via Thailand to get to Myanmar. Has this highlighted the need for Myanmar to grow its own airline?
Yes, Mr. Stephen, thank you. What you said is right. We have only, before COVID-19, we depend on Thailand, Singapore for the long haul flight, So to overcome this, because if we depend on Thailand and Singapore or other countries, if something happened in their country, then totally will be the international connectivity will be stopped. So this kind of, to prevent this, and another point is that we want to get more tourists from long haul countries like America or Japan, South Korea, and UK as well. So for that, we give visa on arrival to these countries and visa exemption to Japan, Macau, Hong Kong, and China we give visa on arrival. So by encouraging this, you can get long haul flights from these countries. So I think before COVID-19, we have only flights from Italy or not UK. So in future, now we can't do anything, but in future, it is very important factor that you get more visitors. We have direct flight from these countries, like Europe, Europe, and I think we have direct flight from Japan, Korea, but Europe, I think uh, we didn't have, So I think after COVID-19, the situation will be much better, I think.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions regarding Myanmar?
Can I throw in a question following on from Amish? Because I can sympathize with Amish and every tour operator. How can you run your business when you're not even sure when the country is going to open? Now, for example, in Thailand, they're trying to start called a sealed, safe and sealed package, which to me is like the old-fashioned charter flight. I mean, somewhere along the line, you have to think that by November or December, you will find a way to draw people from Europe to your country in a safe and safe manner. And tour operators can work with the government to do this, which they're trying to do in Thailand. But even if you take into account all the problems with public health and the issues involved in making sure the local populace doesn't pick up COVID, there has to be a way to restart tourism before the end of this year, or hundreds and basically all the infrastructure will implode. The tour operators will not be there in any of the countries to do this business. So I just feel that the questions are not being answered. I'm sorry to be disrespectful if I am being disrespectful, but the other thing is about airports. People come into the airports, they need to be tested, and the tests have to be reliable. So the governments have to work together to try to create in the Mekong region a testing system that's uniform, reliable, and can create confidence with the traveler. And basically, when you're looking at it, these are the issues. And the other big problem is that for travelers, the restrictions and the rules are different in every country. And yet the 5 countries of the Mekong can't sit down together and say, why don't we make all the conditions the same? Because we're all in the same boat, and you can't develop tourism in Myanmar without Thailand, and Vietnam cannot do without Myanmar. Everything's interlinked. But the rules and the regulations to get into the countries are just so far apart for each country. So I'm seriously worried about this. The real issues might be being forgotten, and the end result is that when December comes, tour operators may be out of business. That's not a question, really. It was just a comment.
No, thank you. I think it's a very relevant intervention, if we want to call it that. No, I think when we look at all the Mekong countries and the numbers are fairly low, I think if we look at potential, obviously recognizing how hard it might be to open borders, create bilateral relationships and travel bubbles, but taking all that aside, I think I would agree with you, Don, that probably the biggest opportunity, at least, could be creating something in the Mekong region. So I concur with that, and obviously the danger is there that if nothing happens, businesses will go out of business, which is already happening. But maybe Mr. Lamint, before we jump over to Vietnam, because we're running out of time, but is there anything you want to add as it relates to Don's point before we go to Vietnam?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Don. What you said is true, and even ASEAN, during the ASEAN Roads Ministers meeting, they discussed about the standardized ASEAN health declaration form for travelers. So when they come to ASEAN countries, they have to use this kind of forms. But even it's very difficult to make the standardized form because the situation is different from each other. So, and very recently ASEAN discussed about travel bubble or a travel corridor or framework. So the ASEAN Secretariat, they discussed with member countries to get some comments and suggestions. And finally, they found out that the Ministry of Tourism cannot do for the travel bubble to organize other related ministries like Ministry of Immigration for visa, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Transport. So now the ASEAN decided to put up this case to the ASEAN foreign ministries to consider, because the policy is coming from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So the Ministry of ASEAN, Ministry of Foreign Affairs will organize this travel bubble because when the Indonesia, they put up the case to the Ministry of, put a high authority, so it was decided that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should consider to implement this travel bubble. So even travel bubble is very ASEAN, very complicated. And what I would like to, even we want to implement travel bubble in GMS countries. So far, we just started discussion during the last, I think, meeting or Metag. I forgot it. But anyhow, the countries are focusing on controlling the virus and develop their domestic tourism again. So right now they don't have any plan. Maybe in some countries they have plan, but Myanmar want to make travel bubble with all the member countries, neighboring countries, ASEAN countries. So we are ready to discuss if any countries of members, any member countries, if they are interested to discuss with Myanmar, and Myanmar is ready to join the discussion to make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lamin. Thank you, Don. I think with that, let's move over to Vietnam. And then I think we can have some more discussion after that, after Vietnam's intervention. So Mr. Tran, if we can ask you and your team to give us an update on what's happening in Vietnam, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon. And just a moment, I will share my screen. Have you seen my screen now? Hello?
Not yet, no.
So, oh, something wrong with this. So it's okay. First of all, I would like to introduce, my name is Trần Phong Binh, Deputy Director of Tourism Marketing Department of Vietnam. And today I would like to update what has happened in a month. So first of all, in the last update, a month ago, I have said informed that in Vietnam, 99 days we have no positive case in community, but unfortunately, I have to say now is the COVID-19 that go back to my country, to Vietnam, the second round. First, I'd like to inform some basic figures about the COVID-19 in Vietnam now. At present, in the world, we have more than 22 million confirmed cases of COVID-19. And in Vietnam now, we have 994 cases, compared with only 381 in the last update a month ago. Then the number of positive cases increased a lot during a month, almost a month in Vietnam. And at present, we have 435 people now in the hospital to be being treated, and 533 people has recovered free from the hospital. And unfortunately, we have to inform that we at present we have 25 people death because of COVID-19. And the social distance, at present we have almost 110,000 people are being social distanced in the country. And a month ago we have only 10,000, and now is 110,000 social distance in the center, and also at home or at the hotel or is somewhere. And you see on the 24th of July, we found the first case, second round of COVID-19 found in Da Nang City. And from that the day, the number of COVID-19 people increased fast. And the highest day we recorded the positive cases is on the 31st July. It's 83 people are being tested and positive with COVID-19 on 31st of July. And yesterday we confirmed this number reduced to only four new cases. And we're very happy to say that we have controlled the situation in the Da Nang City. It's the biggest number of COVID-19 found in Da Nang City, and we have control, and the number of COVID-19 in Da Nang City is reduced. And in this second round of COVID-19 to my country, there are 15 provinces found positive cases at present. And the biggest one in the center is Da Nang. And besides this is Quảng Nam and Quảng Trị province in the center of Vietnam. And a few in Ho Chi Minh City and some in Hanoi. And in Da Nang City, we have 20 people died of COVID-19, 3 in Quảng Nam and 2 in Quảng Trị province. What our government point of view now, our government direction at present is different from the first round. In the first round, our government pay attention to how to control the COVID-19 disease in the whole country. But in this round, in the second round, we have 2 targets and try to achieve at the same time. The first one is control COVID-19 disease, and the second one also to develop the economy. And with that point of view, our government applied no social distancing for the whole country. as we have done in the first round. At this round, we will apply the social distance only for the places where we found the positive cases. And at present, we have the social distancing in Da Nang province, Da Nang city, Quảng Nam province, and also Hải Dương in the north. Da Nang, Quảng Nam in central, and Hải Dương in the north. At present, I now in the social distancing. And in this round, we have we don't limit the air and road transportation as in the first round. We limit only some flights to the place are now applied to social distancing like Da Nang city only, and other the rest other the places are now in operation normally. And at present, our government are arranging the second economic stimulus package, and we believe that this package will be bigger and focus on many aspects of the country, big rather than one or two packages, one or two package in the first package. And for Vietnam tourism, you see, last month in July is the high season of domestic tourism in Vietnam. However, on the highest one, we found the COVID-19. So what we have to do now for domestic tourism now is the first one, we give the top priority is how to protect tourists to get out of the Da Nang city, to resolve, we try to resolve all matter arising in contract cancellation of tourists. The second one, we are preparing the second phase of the domestic tourist stimulus package. And we also we have submitted to our minister an action plan to recover the international market. And we hope that this plan will be approved very soon. And this is what I want to update to you that in a month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tran. Let's open it up again for questions. Any questions from the participants? Stephen, Don?
Just one quick question, please. When you say social distancing, I presume you mean quarantine. Is that correct? Is it quarantine that you mean to say? And you said 110,000 people are currently in social distancing. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Actually, I say social distancing, that means that people in some places, like in Da Nang city, they are not affected by COVID-19. They are all the people in the region that we found the positive cases will be social distance, not quarantine. Only F1, F2, F3 being quarantined, but the other in that area will be social distance. Is that meet your question?
So you tell them to be careful, basically. You tell them to try and separate 2 meters, or
yeah.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested here in whether there are any flights going in and out of Vietnam, like international flights. Have they been totally stopped? or are there still some flights, say, to Korea or China? And secondly, what are the plans for reintroducing e-visas, and when will this kind of staged reopening begin in Vietnam?
Thank you. At present, for me, it's hard to say when we will reopen the door for international tourists. But in my last updates a month ago, I have informed that our government has launched a new decision to reopen the international flight to China, to Guangzhou, to Taiwan, to Japan, and Korea, and also some other countries. But not for all tourists, not for all international tourists, just for the investor, for entrepreneur, for the higher level experts, and for Vietnamese overseas to go to Vietnam through the Vietnam Airlines and some other international airlines also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Mr. Tran. Any other question? Ton, do you have a question?
Yes. Thank you, Jens. For Mr. Tran. So in your last updates regarding the tourism in Vietnam, so you mentioned a little bit about the bilateral agreement or travel bubbles with some countries. So as the second wave happened, so how about the bilateral agreement? Is that still going on, or is that kind of like suddenly stopped now in Vietnam? Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. I said that we were considering the bubble, the travel bubble, with some country like Korea, Japan, and some country in the region, but it hasn't been decided yet, and now our government opened doors for the expert, for the investor, for entrepreneur, like I have said. And we at present we haven't got any plan to open the door for some other country, because the COVID-19 will come back to my country, and our government pay attention to control in the country first, and then we will open the door for international tourists later. Thank you.
Thank you, Ton. Thank you, Mr. Tran. Maybe just have a quick follow-up question on that. You talk about travel bubble in with Korea or Japan potentially. What about in the Mekong region, as Mr. Don previously kind of stated, and I concur that I personally see if there is some kind of travel bubbles, I think doing something in the Mekong region might be of great opportunity. And as we have Mr. Lamint also on the call here from Myanmar, how much, and I can understand obviously Vietnam now looking to really control the virus first in the country before going and opening any borders, but has Vietnam considered travel bubbles or bilateral relationships with countries like Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, or Myanmar before going further out to, let's say, Singapore, Korea, Japan, and countries like that?
Okay, thank you, Jen. Actually, our government point of view is that we will do the travel bubble with those countries or destination are safe, free from COVID-19. We don't care that that destination or country in the region or outside the region, or long haul or short haul. The first priority thing here is the safety And in my last update, we talked that at first the first round we were consider to reopen the international flight to China, to Taiwan, and Korea, and Japan. And the second round, we are considering to open the flight to Laos, and Singapore, Thailand in the region. And but now everything has changed because of COVID-19 come back to my country. So I think in the near future, we will discuss and submit to our government to have the new plan to how to reopen the international tourism to other country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Mr. Tran, I just wanted to ask one question. You mentioned these long haul, the flights. Sorry, not long haul. The flights for businessmen, for experts. And last time I remember you said that they still have to quarantine for 14 days. How many businessmen do you expect to actually be able to do that? Because businessmen, they're not going to want to come to your country for a 2-day meeting if they have to quarantine for 14 days, are they? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think for me personally, I cannot say that with that policy we can attract investor, entrepreneur to Vietnam or not. But the fact that at present a lot of expert, investor, entrepreneur from Korea, from China, from Japan, they have the basis, they have the companies, factory are now here in my country. They are FDI, foreign direct investment, and they want to join to go to Vietnam to run their business. And our government opened that policy to allow them to go to my country to run their business. And I am not a person from the Ministry of Public Health, and I don't understand the very detailed of the procedure, how when they how the investor and entrepreneur come to Vietnam, they have to experience step by step the procedure. But I think that's maybe different from country to country, because maybe in Korea or in Japan, they warranty the safe of the entrepreneur, and our Ministry of Public Health accept that maybe the procedure will be reduced. And some country maybe the standard procedure. I don't have the information in detail about that, but I believe that what our government want is any entrepreneur or investor go to Vietnam, they are safe. They have no virus, COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tran. I think we shrunk in terms of participants now, but any other questions? Maybe Jeffy, a question from you, or another question from Stephen or Don before we close the call?
I have a comment, Jens.
Go ahead.
Actually, what Don was saying was good, but I think Lamin didn't address it. It's a staying at the standard testing for maybe how all the GMS country. My understanding now is the latest testing come out from the US is they're using saliva, and that ultimately will be available for us in the region, and the prices will be low, will be easy. You can do it at home. My friend's family also had developed have manufactured. Exactly, they did not develop. They work with Korea, antigen testing, and they are now getting distributed in the region. So should be available soon. I think, yeah, it's a good idea to have a standard testing for everybody, especially at the airport. That's my comment.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think vaccines are obviously something that people are waiting for to see how things may, you know, open up after that. Okay, if we don't have any other questions or comments, I'd like to thank you, and especially Mr. Lamint and Mr. Tran for giving us the updates on Myanmar and Vietnam today. And again, I'll invite obviously everyone to join us on Tuesday for our virtual Destination Mekong Summit, where obviously we'll talk a lot more about COVID-19 and policies, you know, from speakers from government, private sector, and also, you know, from the region, but also globally as well. So I think that might be quite enlightening to get other perspectives as well. So with that, again, I'd like to thank all of you for joining, and thank again Lamint and Mr. Tran for their updates. And with that, I wish you a good and nice, relaxing weekend. Travel domestically, and I'll hope to see you on Tuesday at our Destination Mekong Summit. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, thank you, Shan. And I would like to add some more. First, I would like to say sorry about the technical problems that I cannot show you my presentation. But I sent Mr. Ton my presentation, and Mr. Ton will share all of you here and to understand more about the situation here in Vietnam. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tran. Okay, if no more comments, then thank you very much, and see you on Tuesday. Take care. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.